So, babe, where are we going tomorrow?
Speed adopting?
It's not what it's called.
That's what it should be called.
We're going to an adoption party.
You didn't tell me it was a party.
It's a party.
Oh. So it's a party.
It's a party.
Like a word party.
Sorry, I'm weeding.
Huh. Okay.
Well, you keep saying that we need to do a foster update.
Yeah?
And the update is we still have our foster.
One of the two.
One of our fosters. The 2-year-old foster that we had ended up going to another home.
Yeah?
And I'm not ashamed to say it's because we were not equipped to handle him.
Meaning he needed to be with other kids because he's not used to being the only kid in a house.
Yes, he was driving us crazy. And that's just the truth of it. I don't want to sugarcoat it because I think a lot of people do, but he was stressing us out.
Real talk.
Real talk. He was stressing us out. We were very unhappy. You started dreading coming home from work.
I'm not saying I took the long way home or anything, but
he was a kid that had a lot of energy and needed a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And once we got the newborn, we weren't able to give him as much attention as he wanted.
Correct.
So he was used to a family that had children to play with, siblings, and we didn't have that, and so he wanted all of our attention, and we just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So he went to another home where I'm sure he's much happier. And I have asked his worker how he's doing, and she says he's doing great. So I think it was the right decision.
This is a kid that could not play by himself for 10 minutes while you loaded the dishwasher. He always had to be in the dishwasher or in whatever you were doing. And I understand he wants to be included and participate, but sometimes you just need the kid to not be in the way so you can get anything done. Right?
And I think that's typical of a 2-year-old.
Probably.
But when you go from nothing to a 2-year-old and don't have that gradual, them getting older, getting into things a little bit more every day, and it's just like, boom, 2-year-old.
Yeah.
It wasn't for us.
He had also been used to being around kids, and he did great at daycare. He did great playing with our niece and the other nieces. But when he was the only kid around, I don't want to use the word monster, but
He's not a monster.
No, he wasn't. I mean, he just needed constant attention all the time.
And he would act out if he didn't get it.
Yeah, act out a lot.
Baby love, my baby love, I need you, oh how I need you.
Okay, where were we?
I don't know.
We're down to one kid.
We're down to one kid.
And
He is almost 5 months old.
yep.
We have had him since he was 10 days old.
And how long are we gonna have him?
I don't know. But it is looking like his parents will have their biological rights terminated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, kiss. So what's probably going to happen is he will more than likely be adopted by his great aunt and uncle.
Who we met, was that last weekend?
We have met them. They are from out of state.
It was last weekend, right?
Where's his pacifier at? So it is looking more and more likely like his great aunt and uncle will be adopting him. So they have reached out to us and asked if they could start establishing a relationship,
Which they have done.
we thought was a really good idea. And so they have FaceTimed with them, and they have come from out of state, driven from out of state to spend a few hours with him.
Sat on our love seat for 4 hours one day.
They did, and he was very good.
He slept most of the time, which That's not the best visit, but whatever.
And they plan to come back and do
Yep.
another visit in a couple weeks. So they want to have a relationship established. They're very nice people.
They are.
If we could pick people to adopt them, we would probably pick someone like them.
Yeah. And they're related, so I mean, they're already a shoe-in as far as DHS is concerned.
Yes.
Okay,
So-
now, tell me about... Everybody says that we're such good people for fostering and this and that. What is the real reason we're fostering kids?
To parent.
I'm not saying we're not good people, but you and I talked about this a while back.
To parent.
To potentially adopt.
Right, but we would still do it if we were never given the chance to adopt.
Correct.
So I would say more to parent.
But 60-40 leaning toward the opportunity to adopt.
Yeah, we would eventually like to adopt. But if that doesn't happen, it's okay. But we would like to eventually adopt.
Yeah, okay.
I personally, I have a separate issue with people like saying like, oh, I mean, I accept the compliment and I understand that that's very kind of them, but it bothers me when people say, oh, I could never do that because I would get too attached. It's like, we're too attached.
You definitely are.
We're way too attached.
We are,
You do
but
it
you
in
are.
spite of that.
Right.
Like, it's not like I have some super secret
No, you don't.
trick to not getting too attached, to turning your feelings off.
2 of our 3 cats we fostered and then ended up adopting, if that tells you anything about
Yeah, I can't
how
even get
attached
attached
she
to that.
gets.
It's not, when people say like, oh, I could never do that, I would get too attached. No, you just do it anyway. Like, you could never do it because, probably because you have children of your own and don't have any desire to take care of someone else's. More,
Right.
I mean, honestly,
No, you're right.
that's the honest truth about it.
And once you hit a certain age and your kids are about to get out of the house, you're looking forward to not having them there all the time.
Yeah.
Well, the proverbial you.
I have always like considered adoption. Like, I've always said my entire life, like Legara and Melissa will tell you, I've always said like I would be interested in adoption. And I think there's just some people that are interested in adoption. There's some people that just never crosses their mind until
Well, the people that can have kids don't really. I mean, that's not the American dream, is to get married and adopt a kid.
Right.
It's get married and have kids of your own.
Right.
So generally the people that adopt are people who cannot have kids on their own biologically, etc.
And the majority of the time, yes. There are people out there who choose to adopt just because they want to adopt. They want to give someone who needs a home.
Yeah. I've actually, when I was younger, I saw a bunch of movements to try to get people to make a pledge to never have their own kids, but to adopt instead, just because of the amount of kids that
Overpopulation.
don't have parents.
Yeah.
And overpopulation, which is becoming a huger problem.
I kind of feel that way about international adoption. I don't want to open a can of worms because I think if you're doing adoption, good for you, like, and good for the kids.
But why go get one from another country when there's one 3 blocks away?
I didn't say that. And it's because they want younger kids, or they want, I don't know. I don't know why it is, but it's very expensive to do international adoption, tens of thousands of dollars. And from what we were looking up tonight, basically, if you do it domestically from foster care, you don't pay anything at all.
I know a guy I went to college with, and his wife adopted 2 kids from Russia, like separately. So they had that whole expense twice.
Yeah.
I was like, where are you getting this money? That's like 60 grand or more all in.
I mean, if you're going to adopt, you're a good person, I think. I mean, it's a good thing to do. So I don't want to talk
Right.
bad about anyone adopting in any way. But, yeah. So we are going to an adoption party tomorrow. This adoption party is for older children only, because a lot of times they are, I don't want to say neglected, but overlooked when there's younger kids there and they kind of sit in the corner by themselves. So we're going to an older kids adoption party where we can get to know some kids. They can get to know us. Maybe we'll make a connection. Maybe we'll just meet some people. Maybe they're also calling it a permanent connections party. And basically that means they're looking for like adult mentors. They said a vast majority of these kids can't find homes, either to foster them or to adopt them. So they are in group homes. So even if they could find someone to hang out with for a day, go get ice cream,
Christmas or Thanksgiving.
yeah, then they're looking for those type of connections. And I say the more the merrier.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Nope. We will probably have little guy. We're estimating sometime between October and December. So he'll be, around for a little while.
I just thought, knowing your luck, they'd take him like 3 days before Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, that's totally my luck. But, you never know for sure because they're not in any way obligated to. But they did say that they would like to continue a relationship with us after they adopt him, meaning they'll send us like Christmas cards, maybe we can do a phone call, school pictures, so we can watch little guy grow up.
That would be really cool.
It'd be really cool. So I hope they do something like that, because that will make the transition slightly easier. Very slightly.
All right, so I had not intended for that to be the Foster update video, but
Me either.
it was.
I'm sweaty Beth.
I just had the camera outside with the sheep, and then Beth started talking about it. So I'm gonna sit on her lap or something. Yeah, there we go.
I must go.
Somebody doesn't like it when I sit on her lap. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
What do you think about that, little guy?